Hello lovelies, it is Thorny here with the Sims 4. Today I'm doing a speed build. Now I had a bit of an idea for a shell challenge. If you don't know what a shell challenge is, I'm just opening up the gallery here for you to have a little look. Basically a shell challenge is a creator makes a build, but there's no roof or windows or any extra bits, it's just literally the walls. So somebody makes a house just with the external walls. So here you can see I'm pointing out some of the basic shells. They do get quite complicated because the idea is that then other people will take that shell and turn it into a house or a community lot or something else completely. So the idea is you're taking just an empty house and creating something from that. So my idea was, usually people build the shells from scratch, and I thought, what about taking an EA build and removing all the roof and the windows and everything like this, and actually turning the EA build back into the original shell. So that's what I've done here. I've picked Riverside Roost, which is in Willow Creek, and when I thought of this idea, this was the building that kind of sprung to mind because it's so long and thin, and just a weird shape, I thought. So even though it's pretty basic, it is just a large rectangle on the bottom and a square on the top. This was one that I thought I would have a go at, just to get me started and see if the idea was any good. So I have brought one of my Sims here, just so I can test it out in a little bit and see if everything works. The rules of a shell challenge are pretty straightforward. You can't add any walls onto the outside of the building. You can add walls on the inside to make the floor plan, obviously, in the rooms. So my rules are no addition of any external regular walls on the outside, no changing the wall height, and no changing the foundation height. I thought half walls were fine because they act the same way as a fence would. So I added this porch here onto the side and moved the door around onto the side so that to give a little bit more interest and also make the build a little bit more interesting from the front, because the front of this building is like on the road where my Sim is standing, so from there it's just like a square box that's very long. So adding the porch on the side I thought would make it look a bit more sort of wider, but also other things with the roof and everything make it look a bit more interesting. So the upstairs room, I did originally have it as bedrooms, but then I thought it would be quite interesting to have it more like a greenhouse. I was looking through, the first items I picked were the two kind of fake balconies from Cottage Living that are on the side of the build. And so from that, thinking about Cottage Living, that maybe they could be gardeners or wanting to get into gardening, and also finding some of the items from Eco Lifestyle. I thought maybe these Sims are kind of living, maybe in the city or maybe in the suburbs, but they have decided that they would like to become a bit more eco-friendly, a bit more environmentally friendly. So they're getting into growing their own produce for using at home and kind of maybe using solar power. So that's why I've left those few random items on the grass to sort of remind me in which direction I wanted to go. And again, that's why the upstairs room I put a glass roof, because I originally thought I'd make that into like a greenhouse and have lots of plants growing. It doesn't quite work out like that, because once I've done the floor plan downstairs, I decided that should be the living area. But there is like plants and things on that terrace. I did have major issue with those stairs as well, going up to the front porch. I couldn't get them to fit how I wanted them to. They just, for some reason, they wouldn't. Only one wide staircase would actually fit right up against the foundation, and I really don't like how it looks with the top step being so wide, and then when I put the flooring down, the flooring doesn't match, so I do go back and change that. Here I'm also having a little bit of an issue with the doors. Because I picked this kind of orangey wood colour for the foundation trim on the columns, which is from SIMS, I was trying to find doors that would match that colour, and it's a bit of an odd wood tone. It's not one that I would usually pick, but once I'd chosen the kind of the burnt orangey brown wallpaper, I really liked that, and it kind of inspired me for the rest of the build, so that's why I thought the orangey tone would match that. But the doors, just gosh, it was hard work. I would love it if, and this is why here that I'm actually changing the colour to like a light tone wood, but I don't think it matches the walls, and I was really set on keeping that orange kind of tone wall, so we do go back to the orange wood. But I would love it if everything, all the swatches had like a white and a black, and then maybe a dark wood and a light wood, just so that things from all different packs would actually match, you know, so you could have stairs from one pack, the fence from another pack, and you could match things. I understand why they have different tones, because that happens in, you know, in real life, and it is interesting getting new packs and having different coloured things to play with, but I kind of wish that they had that that basic colours, like 3 or 4 colours that everything came in as standard, just to make it a bit more exciting for building. So here I'm kind of looking at the floor plan. I did cut quite a lot out. Like I say, I did originally, before I started the outside, I did actually do a floor plan with the bedrooms upstairs, which I quickly scrapped. Here, because I put the door on the side, I thought that made more sense in terms of the floor plan, that you can split it up so you've got an entranceway and then you've got rooms on the left hand side and rooms on the right hand side. So I'm making this the 2 bedrooms on the left and then the kind of living room kitchen on the right. This does change, this the little room on the left there with the kind of the triangular bottom. I was going to make that into a bathroom, but I take that off. Well, take that away, because I thought it would be better to have 2 larger rooms. So here we are now with the 2 bigger rooms. I've wallpapered it. There is 1 large bathroom downstairs by the stairs, and then you've kind of got an entrance foyer leading through to the staircase. So I had a bit of an issue with the furnishing of the bedrooms. I wanted to have like a master, I don't know whether you call it a master room, but the parents' room with a double bed, and then the kids' room with 2 beds. And in the end, I decided just to swap the rooms over, so that I could, in this room currently that I'm furnishing, I could have the door in the middle and then a bunk bed on either side. That way they could have a bit more of like their own space and put their own personality in the rooms, rather than having, you know, trying to squash a bunk bed in the other room and not being able to work out where the desks go, because I wanted each of them to have a desk and have their kind of own space. So I didn't want to limit myself with packs or money in this build, so it was an unlimited money. It was unlimited packs as well, but as I was working through, I was using quite a lot from Cottage Living, Eco Lifestyle, Seasons and Dream Home Decorator. They were the 4 main packs that I was using. So I did try and limit myself a little bit to those, just so I know when people are downloading items downloading houses, it can sort of easier when you have sort of a limited number of packs. But there are a couple of items that I have used from, I think there's like the stack of magazines from the Moschino pack, and a lamp maybe from, what's the Romantic Garden, is it? And something else, I think. Oh, the hanging plant from the Nifty Knitting. So I have used those, but I thought they were kind of items that you wouldn't really miss if you didn't have those packs and they weren't in the house when you downloaded it. So I do kind of jump around a little bit. You can see me just then going back and fixing the roof. I did come back to this. I started building it a couple of days ago and then had to stop because I got a bit confused about what I wanted to do. So then I came back, and that's when I was fixing the roof as I was looking at it again, coming into the game, thinking that I wanted to make the roof over the porch just a little bit more interesting. Onto the kitchen. I really like that kind of rose gold pinky kind of colour for the oven, but I just thought it didn't quite match the cabinets, and I just like the kind of the simplicity of those cabinets. So I turned the oven back to white, and again I've come back into the game, which is why I'm having to put the cheats back on again. If you've seen me typing those a couple of times. Trying to fit this the extractor hood with the light in, and then just realised that it's such a big room that why not put an island in. So I changed that round, make the island a little bit smaller so that there's kind of space to put other items. And this is kind of where I'm thinking that my greenhouse upstairs isn't going to work, because I'm taking up so much room down here with this kitchen. I want to put in a dining area as well. So the living room is going to go upstairs, and the conservatory greenhouse idea kind of stops being a possibility. So I have done shell challenges in the past. I've used other people's shells that they've built, and I just like the idea that you are restricted to the shape of the build and how interesting that makes it, and how you can use your imagination to turn it into something, something interesting, and then seeing what other people have made from it, how creative people are and how varied the ideas are. I find it a really cool thing to do. So like I said before, this shell is extremely simple, but the challenge for me was just like the long, thin downstairs. And originally, when I'd done the original floor plan, I did try and roof it, and it just looked awful. I couldn't get it to look right, because there was so much roof, and like the upstairs is relatively small in comparison. It just looked really weird. So that's why I thought of putting the terraced upstairs, just to kind of split the roof up a little bit. I also put a skylight in. I think you would have seen at the beginning of the video, I put the skylight at the front of the build, and then when I've done the floor plan, realised that the bedrooms are underneath that, so it looks weird because you can see the dividing wall. So I moved the skylight to the back, which is over this dining area, which lightens things up a large amount as well. And this sort of reddish colour for the chairs, I do use that throughout the build. It's in the bedroom, and it goes upstairs into the living room and outside on the terrace. I just thought it was a nice, everything's quite neutral, but that was a real pop of colour that I thought the build needed, just to brighten things up a little bit. And I am adding lots of plants and things around as well, because obviously the idea of the Sims being more maybe into nature and growing their own produce and things and getting into recycling and stuff, I thought they would be into plants. So I keep putting plants all around. They're a good way to fill in gaps. Curtains as well. I would love some new curtains or blinds or something that just, I don't know what it is about the curtains and things. These are the ones, the new blinds from Cottage Living, and I thought they just added a little bit more interest than the kind of the bamboo looking blinds that stick like into the window frame. Not that if you play with the walls down, then you'll never see them. So often I play with the walls down, so I never get to see what's going on. So in that case, it doesn't really matter. I have play tested this build as well, so everything does work. Like that little bucket of cleaning products under the sink. You can still use the sink and the toilet, and everything is still all okay. I've tested like the kitchen and everything. I do love that rug. That's one of the rugs from Eco Lifestyle that you can craft yourself on the fabricator. I just like the shape and the kind of the circle bumps on it. Just kind of a bit more unusual than the other rugs that we've got in the Sims. So simple kind of furnishing for the kind of the hall, the foyer bit. Place to put your shoes, the umbrellas, the mirror. I don't think I've ever used this light. Here's the hanging plant that I was talking about that I put in. Just thought it added, well, obviously a bit more greenery without it having to sit on the table. Because sometimes it is, I just find like I put loads of things on the table and then it looks a bit higgledy-piggledy. So there's the hanging plant, and also there's a stack of magazines, and I use another stack of magazines, I think, upstairs on the coffee table. But again, if you didn't have those, you wouldn't really notice that it wasn't there. I put that chair there because I thought there's chairs around the dining table, one at the desk, and then that would be like the spare chair maybe that you'd bring out when you're trying to squash a load of people around the dining table. It's kind of a set of 8 chairs, so you've got one spare. So this is a bit of an odd hallway, but this is where all the doors come off for the bathroom and the bedrooms. Using that red again. You can see in the kids' bedroom that I've used it for the rug as well. I think if you like a colour that you would, you'd pick it up throughout your house. Maybe not in, huge blocks of colour, but I quite like yellow, and I do seem to have quite a lot of yellow things around the house, so I don't think you necessarily stick to one colour per room. I like this rug. I was trying to make it work, and I do actually make it work by sizing it down. I thought it would make like a nice runner if you put 2 together, so I do the same in here as well, just to try and tie the rooms together with it being the archway. I didn't like it when it was 2 different rugs, or 2 different coloured rugs. I'd found this blue rug that I don't think I'd ever used before, and I just really like the bright colour of it. I do tend to do that when I'm not necessarily building, but when I'm furnishing. If I'm going through looking for things and something else catches my eye, I will take it and put it into another room, or put it down like I've done with the items on the lawn, just to remind myself, I suppose, that it's there and that I would like to use it. Otherwise I kind of tend to forget things. A lot of the things on the lawn I don't actually end up using because I can't fit them in, like the fabricator and not the fabricator, the recycler and things. I just can't find the space for them. Those kind of things I like to have a specific room or kind of an area built around them so they don't look like you've just plonked them down. And also at the beginning of the build, when I'm finding those items, you'll have seen that I find a chicken coop. That was one of the thoughts that I had, that they would be getting into like growing their own items and maybe having chickens, and realising I could put chicken coop on the roof, which just makes me, the idea of it makes me laugh, just having chickens running around on the terrace upstairs. However, I couldn't fit them in. I think you would be able to squeeze them in, but I just thought it didn't quite make sense in this area because it is such kind of a small, limited space outside that there is. Downstairs in the kids' bedroom I put a guitar, so I put another one upstairs and the keyboard. I thought maybe one of the kids would be musical. I did also put a couple of kind of conspiracy posters up, so that is from the Strangerville pack, so that's another thing that I only just realised that I've used. But I like the idea of like one of the kids being into kind of conspiracies and kind of sitting on their laptop trying to hunt people down and find out what's happening in Roswell and those kind of things, or in Strangerville in this case. So again, a couple more blinds. I didn't put curtains or blinds, I put all of the windows. I thought that would be, well, it probably makes sense if you were going to be using it upstairs as a living room and not wanting people to pry in, but I thought it'd look a bit over the top. I've had some ivy on the sides. I had some on the back as well, just to, because the back has no windows really, so just to kind of break the long thin, like not long thin wall, but the long wall. Kind of went with the orange theme again with the flowers. I don't overdo the floral stuff outside. Kind of the landscaping, I just add some bits here and there, because again it is quite a small amount of space outside. This deck is pretty large though, so I add in the grill, I add in some counters and things, a table and some sun loungers. And then I find this corner piece and I'm like, wow, I like this corner piece, why am I not using that? So I do jiggle things around a little bit. Like the idea that you could sort of store your plates and things in there for the barbecue, and you've got plenty of space to do all your cooking. So we've got an outside bin. There is a bin on the inside as well, because that is something that I often forget to do or forget to leave space for. And then as I'm just looking through, I find those wall strips, and I thought they look quite cool just down the centre of the build, again just to break up the kind of flatness of the building outside. Sometimes I go through, because I've got the debug menu on as well, I go through things and I'm like, I've never seen this before in my life. I've been playing The Sims I've been playing The Sims since Sims 1 days. So, but sometimes still going through debug stuff, I'm like, what is this? And I like pull things out like that giant barn door and I'm like, oh, I've never seen that before. And then I'm like, when could I use that? What could I build to use that? And it kind of, I don't realise that there's actually so much stuff just hidden away. Oh, I've used this Mount Komorebi bench as well. I'm realising as I'm going through that I've used like more things than I've thought, more different packs than I realised. So, because I've still not put this on the gallery yet, because on there you can actually you can see what items you've used from each pack. So a little picnic basket in there. I thought that was a nice little touch. I do like that idea now that on cottage living that you can just take your picnic basket with you for all the things that you've made. Here, when I was building this section, you'll see the plants kind of interlocking a little bit, and because I do have move objects on, but one of my cats, Ruby, was actually lying on one of my arms, like she was lying across my arm asleep, so I only had one hand to use my mouse, so I couldn't hold Alt and the mouse and do the move objects thing. So I do go through later on and move those so they are like a little bit closer. The same with these wall lights. I wanted to move them around so they're in a bit more of an interesting pattern rather than just stuck on the wall. But I couldn't do that while she was asleep on me. I didn't want to disturb her. So so that later on you can see I go through. I think I do it on camera. I might do it off camera. But anyway, later on I do go through and just refine some of those bits and pieces that I couldn't get quite into the right place. Kind of add a bench in here just to really fill up the space, because it is quite a large kind of porch area. And then looking through, I kind of, because I've used the eco lifestyle here, I'm just like, I look through all of the eco lifestyle items, trying to work out what I can use, if there's any other items that I can just put in and swap around, so that, well, obviously that there's not too many packs, although now I've realised there's probably like about 15 packs that I've used. And again, these odd items that I don't think I've ever seen before, I've never thought about using. I don't think I've talked about it, but I did add the flower arranging table upstairs, and this section here is the outside terrace where I put bees up there, because I know in London there are quite a few people who actually have bees on their roofs. Obviously bees fly around, so they don't really care if they're up in the air like that. And the roof that is actually coming through the half wall there, I do change that, but again, I can't do that at this moment in time in the video because the cat was asleep on me, so I do go back and change that. So I add in a few of the crop fields, and I add this wind turbine in. I put a I'm just trying to find tiles that might match the pathway there. Okay, so here we are in live mode. This is the finished house. So you can see this is the solar roofing from Eco Lifestyle. I put some stepping stones down through just because it was a bit of an odd space. I didn't want the you know, the kind of the block paving I thought might look a bit odd. Done all the orange landscaping. I did put in a little nice orange tree and a bench and things down here, a couple more planters, and then these are the two wind turbines that will give you some power. A little back courtyard, a little back kind of there's my sim just having her lunch, a little back patio or deck area, and keeping with that kind of orangey red theme. So if we go inside, you can see, let me put all the walls back up. There's a chair which matches the chairs in the other rooms, so through into the kitchen. Quite a nice open space, nice and kind of pale woods. You've got a little drinks tray there, you've got a little bookshelf, picnic basket and everything, and I really like the kind of the open space. And you've got a desk here and a little seating area so that the whole family could be in here enjoying the kitchen, through out into the little the foyer with all the, you know, regular things, the shoes and everything. And then the master bedroom is pretty basic because it is just a bed. This is an actual floor lamp that I sized down, so I thought it just fitted in nicely with the colour scheme. So it is basically just the bed. Ooh. Now we're just peeping through the windows, which is a bit weird. And you've got the dress from the plant and everything, and more books and a nice little light. So into the kind of the kids' room. I imagine these to be kind of like youngish, like teenagers living here in this area, because one's got the dream home decorated desk that looks like they're into kind of planning, and they've got pictures of all their friends up there. And then this side we've got again a little bookcase. You've got the dresser, and then the desk here with the conspiracy theory posters above the desk. I don't know whether there should be quite as many candles burning, but anyway, there we go. So yeah, the two different teens, both got different interest, and obviously the guitar and the Scouts board. You never know, you can always take it out if you don't want to use it, but I kind of filled the corner, and I thought maybe with this, the kind of the eco lifestyle that they're thinking could have been one of the kids that got really into it from doing Scouts. So that's where the idea for the whole family to try and make more of an effort for like recycling and growing their own produce. And then we've got this, the cool amp, which I thought looks good next to the guitar, even though it is an acoustic guitar. I thought the amp fitted in quite well. So the bathroom is pretty straightforward. Just toilet, sink, shower. We've got the cleaning products and the nice little the plant on the wall, and there is also a bath as well. And these pictures that I use way too much because they look kind of nice and relaxing and cool. So the living area, again, it's nice and open, lots of different activities that all your Sims could be up here doing different things at the same time. So you come up the stairs, you've got the flower arranging table, you've got the chess set, The keyboard is there. I couldn't think for the life of me what that was called then. Keyboard, nice seating area with a TV and guitar, and the cross-stitch box. And then out through the big Eco Lifestyle sliding doors, the patio heater, nice little seating area, some planters, and then you've got the bees and also the insect farm from Eco Lifestyle, and a couple of the vertical planters. So this is the house. As you can see down the side, I did add some more of those horizontal bars and the ivy just to give it a little bit of interest. But I think it makes sense not having really any windows along there because you are so close to the house next door. So this is my build. I hope you like it. I hope like the idea. I don't know what I was trying to say then. What actually was I trying to say, or what I was trying to say was I hope that you enjoy the build, and if you do download it, please let me know how you get on. But I really enjoyed this kind of basic speed build idea. So if you are, if you've enjoyed it, give me a like, give me some comments down below, and you can subscribe to see all my future stuff. Thank you.